Oh, this is exactly what I needed. Ross Tucker did an interview with Will Anderson during the Super Bowl, but just dropped it yesterday. And nobody gets me as amped up as Will Anderson does. I just love his energy. I love his work ethic. I love everything about him. I love his attitude about pouring into his teammates and everything else. I am a sucker for anything that Will Anderson says, does, or my expectations for him are so high. Using new streaming platform software today, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes with this live stream, given my history with technology. Just as a little glimpse, this is Ross Tucker and how he feels about Will Anderson.
One of my favorite guys in the league because you have that dog in you.
He has that dog in him, and he spoke about a few things. Opened up some old wounds from the Chiefs playoff game that we'll get to at the end of this. But first and foremost, just Will Anderson, as he transitions from year 2, where he made a lot of improvements, to year 3, what is he working on?
What do you need to do to get to that level that people are talking about you like they talk about those guys?
Consistency. Consistently. Like, I have to do it consistently every game. It can't be a drop-off, staying healthy. And me and my coach talked about that. Like, you got to consistently do that, like, every game. And, it's just more, doing more. And doing more is just, we want to talk about sacks and stuff like that. Like, the sacks are going to come, but, like, doing more, like, more forced fumbles. Like, got to get the ball out more when you're sacking the quarterback. Like, that's one of my off-season things that I want to work on is, like, reaching with precision, like really like turning that corner tight and really going for the ball, getting more of those. Like those guys have a lot of forced fumbles, a lot of strip sacks and stuff like that. And like that's what separates them. That adds another thing to your career and stuff like that. So just doing that and just being more consistent in my game, like I feel great where I'm at right now, but like it's more left on the table. Like I'm starving for it right now. I'm hungry for it. So this offseason, I just want to continue to get better, be consistent, and man, just keep growing and learning.
Yeah, I have zero fears or worries that somehow Will Anderson's ever going to get complacent at any point in his career or life in general. So the cool thing is that we saw from year 1 to year 2, he talked about the things he had to improve last offseason, getting better at the top of his rush, a few of the finer aspects of the game, and he improved at all those things. Going into year 3, he's said this to Texans media and interviews already. The strip sack, getting the ball out, being real focused and precise when you get to the top of the rush, and just all those little finer things that allow you to complete the play or poke the ball out. The strip sack is the pinnacle. There's almost nothing you can do outside of scoring actual touchdowns to help your team win football games and get a strip sack. Think about if you're at the 50-yard line and you get the ball out, there's a good chance that it's going to be recovered for positive yardage or a touchdown. We saw that with Barnett last year. Or just B, that you recovered, even if the offense recovers it, it usually ends up in a 3rd and 20 type situation. So the flipping of the tables is huge. That is where Will can make an even bigger impact in the game. He's going to get into a little bit of one other aspect that I hadn't really thought about in a couple of questions here. But that part of it, and having seen that Will lays these things out in the offseason. They have the pro-grow tapes and everything, and that he's already shown evidence that he can actually build on these things. I'm very, very excited about Will Anderson this year. I think there's a better chance that he starts off with the production that he had in the playoffs and in the second half of the season and just does that through the entire season. Ross asked about which players he likes to emulate, and the one that I got excited about was when he mentioned Nick Bosa.
Yeah, Bosa's an interesting guy because he's he's so good with his hands.
Yeah.
He doesn't really beat him with speed.
Yeah.
It's all like
he has really big steps.
Yeah.
He gains really a lot of ground on his steps. He has really big steps. He uses his hands really well. His leverage is amazing. I love watching him. He does a lot of speed to power. Then he gets the O-lineman hands on him, and he gets to, like, swipe him off.
Yes.
Forklift, bull forklift, long arm, things like that. So from that aspect, I kind of watch him, and Miles does the same.
And that's where I got really excited when he mentioned Nick Bosa and he said Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa. You guys know, I've been preaching this for a long time. The comp is Nick Bosa in terms of athletic profile, physical strength, the type and style of play that they have, and the fact that Nick Bosa has been playing in a DeMeco Ryans type scheme, it's so easy for Will to watch that tape. But when he said the big steps, I got so excited because Bosa gets across the line of scrimmage really fast. Will Anderson gets across the line of scrimmage really fast. Neither of them have really fluid hips. They're not like Danielle Hunter types, which is fine. That's just the types of athletes that they are. But Bosa has the advantage of having been a defensive end in high school, on into college, into the NFL, where Will Anderson is an off-ball guy that played on the line, but even when he played in the line, it wasn't at Alabama, it wasn't like a pure pass rusher type of mode. And that was one of the concerns about him when he was coming out, that he was still really raw in a lot of respects. Whereas Bosa came out of college, I don't want to call him a finished product, but he was at a level technique-wise that very few rookie defensive ends are. So Will has had to work at that over the last couple years, and he's looking a lot more like Bosa. Those big steps, if I'd had more time, I had a tape of Bosa I was going to add to this. But I'm learning this damn software, and I'm basically a boomer, remember. Those huge steps, the 3 steps, taking 3 big steps. It's like any of you guys who have trained either as sprinters or to run your 40. Those huge steps at the beginning are really big, and it almost feels unnatural because it doesn't feel so much in your youth as a football player. You're drilled the importance of short, choppy steps, and then all of a sudden you get into pure pass rush mode as a pass rusher, and it's actually no, huge steps are good. Close as much ground as fast as possible. That's something that Will has worked on, and I think can continue to emulate Nick Bosa. Next one up, are we opening up old wounds? No, this is on playing weight. I thought this was fascinating because Ross asked Will about what his ideal playing weight is.
What are you weighing right now?
I'm at 253. I want to stay right here.
That's what you like?
I just want to stay right here at 253.
Why 253?
Because I got the 260, and I was almost up to 270 at like one point, like early in the season, because I had missed the whole training camp or whatever like that. And I was like, I don't feel good at all.
No.
And I feel way lighter, faster, quicker, more explosive at this weight right here.
So, dude, it's so funny, man. I'm going to tell you, and those guys got into a good conversation. I've got the link to the full interview down below. The difference that, obviously, the difference between 253 and 270 is a big one. But even the difference between 5 and 10 pounds, it can be a deceptively big difference in terms of how your body responds, how quick you are versus how strong you are. But remember, Will came back last year during OTAs or at training camp, and he looked huge in a good way. It was lean weight. Like, he looked yoked. And it's so hard in the offseason because you're in the weight room, and if you're gaining weight, it's so much fun in the weight room. You get stronger every week when you go in. You're happy all the time. You're on this high from having a caloric excess, and your times as you're running drills and as you're doing all these other things, you feel just as quick and just as crisp. And you can't learn until you get into the regular season and play 60 or 70 snaps and feel exactly at full speed what's the ideal weight for your body. So my favorite part about that answer, honestly, is that he figured out exactly 253. He didn't even say 250 or 255, 253. And I know, it sounds dumb. There's a big difference between 253 and 257 when you feel like your ideal weight is 253. There's a certain sluggishness if you get a little too heavy, but then if you get a little too light, if you get down to 249, it feels like you're getting banged around a little bit. You're going to add 60 or 70 pounds if I'm talking about my personal experience as a player. But I never, it's not like Will got that big because he didn't have good discipline about his eating or anything. He can very consciously dictate where he's going to be, and for him, 253 seems to be the right spot. When it comes up to opening old wounds, I was glad that Ross did this because Ross and I have had a couple of debates about this topic, and Ross was almost sticking up for Will Anderson when Will Anderson got flagged for the fictitious hit to Mahomes' head in the playoff game.
Talk to me about the play where your guy Mahomes, I don't even know if you touched him or not. Dude, he snapped his head back like he got whiplash in a car accident going 70 miles an hour. I mean, you had to be so frustrated.
Yeah, I was, but,
Did you get him at all, Will?
No, I didn't. I hit his chest. But, I just got to be better. Me and my coach talked about it or whatever like that. Like, we got to be better just like when it comes to like how you hit the quarterback, and we got to drill it more and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
but you didn't hit him in the head.
Yeah,
you hit him where you're supposed to.
Got to be perfect in the playoffs. You got to be perfect in the playoffs.
I think it's because you didn't go low at all.
Yeah, and that's where we got to go lower.
It looked like you were face to face.
Okay, Will did a really good job here, even though he got excited at the beginning of there. He put his arms out like, well, I know, I didn't hit him. And I'm going to play, I think I have the second part of this discussion here. The fact that he didn't just say I got screwed or anything, that I just got to be better. There is a certain element of accepting the reality of the situation is that quarterbacks are going to be protected. And I can tell you, as a sports media broadcaster, man, nothing hits quite like quarterbacks. People they tune in when they hear quarterbacks. They drive the engine of the league. And whether it's fair or not to defensive linemen, the reality of the situation is what it is, and you got to take it on yourself to try to minimize the potential for that. Ross made a very good point, which is, hey, if you lower your helmet, great. In that instance, you would have been fine. But later in the game, the two Texans defenders are trying to go in chest level or waist level on Mahomes, and he just drops, doesn't even slide, and there you have it. Those guys get penalized. So it feels like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Here's Will talking about the challenge of hitting running quarterbacks, and then I'll weigh in on my feelings about what BS it is.
Yeah, I think it's for everybody's safety. It's kind of like when we talked about with the one with Aziz a little bit. Just, when these runners are running, quarterbacks are running, and for defensive players, how are we fixing the safety on both sides of the ball, to make the game, more safer for everyone. But like I said, we got to do a better job defensively of how we're attacking our, tackling and stuff like that, and our hand placement and our head placement and stuff like that. And, we work on it this offseason and get it fixed.
We're going to hate it as long as it exists. And right now, the Texans have a ferociously attacking defense. We have, on average, the last couple of years since D'Amico's been here, we have at least one player per year suspended for unnecessary roughness or things of that nature. But the hard part is, and I think this is what we have to accept, is that when a quarterback is running, you just have to abandon any thought of actually hitting the dude. That it's going to end up having to be just like once he's out of it, when he's in the pocket, you can try to follow the rules. Okay, hit him in the midsection, and hopefully he doesn't drop at the last section. Second. You're screwed if you do, but that's your best odds. And then when he's outside the pocket, you got to just try to corral him and arm tackle him. You don't have to worry about the helmet to helmet as much unless he slides. But there's things you can do to drill it. So I think the only thing you can do is take a pragmatic approach towards it. There's a lot of other good stuff in this interview. It's a short interview. I mean, I've talked for 12 minutes about an 8-minute interview. These guys had a really good conversation. You should follow Ross Tucker when you get a chance. It looks like so far, it looks like Ecamm, which is the new platform I'm using, is working out. Do you have looking at the comments popped up. Do you have a nickname for our defense, and how do you feel about Space Force? Now, I'd love to politicize it as much as possible. You guys had come up with some good names, and I'm blanking on all of them right this moment. I don't need to. Space Force is going to get politicized if we call it Space Force. I like where you're going with it, though. It's I don't want to deal with it. I try to keep politics out of my life, at least my public life, as much as possible. Will might threaten a few Watt records during his Houston tenure. It's really interesting, and I've talked about Jared Verse before. I've got a video coming out on Jared Verse, who the Rams rookie from last year. When you look at guys who have been sack leaders over the course of the past 10 years, J.J. Watt being one of them, the vast majority of them are single-digit sack guys the rookie year, and then they take off in either their second or third year. And it speaks to a lot of the things that Will was talking about. There is so much more refinement to rushing the passer, and there's so much more of an art to it than you realize when you get into the league, that it's almost like baseball. It's Jeremy Pena. Pena taking a few years really to figure everything out. It happens on a faster timeline in football, but that's where Will is right now. He's still really coming into his own. He's not a chess master yet. He's, whatever the low level below chess. I'm not going to pretend I know a damn thing about chess. Players like Allen take advantage of. Yeah, I know. Okay, good point. Tradon Allgood. I don't want to mispronounce your name. Tradon. It's a cool name. Yeah, there's an element of you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Will is freaking awesome. Damn 270. Yeah, no, I was surprised when Will said he got up to 270 at some point. If he were playing in a different scheme where they weren't cocked out wide so much, it might be interesting to see exactly how he was. Good question here, Rich Boy, that I refuse to answer. Do you think Will is better than Daniil right now? This is where I have it with these two. Daniil is more of a pure pass rusher right now. I mean, he's a damn artist. I think that Will, as an impact player in the run game, I think Will is a more complete and total package in a lot of ways. It's really hard. I wouldn't want to parse them out. I think each guy has some really good elements where he's better than the other guy, but they're right about equal. I think obviously the upside is there with Will, and I think that you probably will see a step forward. And as I always have to say, it's hold on, let me, as I do this, there we go. Okay. And you can't measure it all in sacks. You know, that's the big disclaimer in any given year. From year to year and over the course of a career, sacks can tell you a lot. But there's some years where JJ may have had 18 sacks in one year, but he was actually better and more productive as an overall player in a year where he had 15 sacks. It's just it can. There's a little bit of luck involved every single year. The big thing that Will has going for him, compared to other guys that he's starting to be in the conversation with, like Nick Bosa and Hendrickson and those guys, is that this year with that defensive backfield, there's a chance that the complementary football could really take off. And that's where I'm pretty bullish about the potential for more turnovers again, or being a team that forces a lot of turnovers. That can be kind of erratic from one year to the next. But the guys who are ball hawks and who are improving in the secondary, the addition of C.J. Gardner-Johnson combined with Will Anderson continuing on his improvement, it's going to be pretty damn good. I enjoy it too. I'm excited. This is where I felt some life and some juice because this time of year, you know, it's very, very dead. These interviews, thank you, Ross Tucker, for putting this interview out there because it got me juiced. Got me feeling really good about training camp starting in just, is it a week? Yeah, almost just a week. Here we go. All right, so far so good. I didn't see any complaints. I think I like this platform better. Hopefully there will be fewer technical glitches that are always caused by me. But this has this platform has some more training wheels on it. Texans Cap recommended it. Okay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson launched a YouTube channel. Thank God. More content. Will Anderson, post-football motivational speaker, football color commentator. Motivational speaker would be. I could see Will working with the youth. You know who? Is it? I can't remember. I think it's Robert Brazil spent his career working in some kind of capacity with the youth, and Robert Brazil, who's very much kind of a gentle giant type off the field. I could see Will Anderson doing something like that. Like, would you not love Will Anderson to be an uncle to your children? He's got to be the best uncle. I don't know how many nieces and nephews he has, but his nieces and nephews have got to absolutely love him. The next big step in me learning this new software is how do I end the live stream? How do I patter while talking and searching for how to end the live stream? I'm going to do it right here. Thanks, everybody.